you see me moving forward, then it's definitely because of God. That's Sissy Chum bringing us that beautiful song to start of our show this morning. Good morning and welcome. This is the AM show. My name is Anima Animado, and we will be doing this until 9 a.m. Now, what to expect this morning? Well, courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, we will be coming to you, we'll be coming your way this morning with AM Business. And today, Charles Ayite explores why there may be a dip in the visits of Africans from the diaspora to Ghana this Yuletide. Also, government is going to relaunch Operation Halt to fight illegal mining. The health minister has been accused of blowing 32 million Ghana cedis of COVID-19 funds on meetings and conferences. And also, President Akufo-Addo has described as discriminatory and unacceptable the continuous singling out of Africa for travel bans in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. We'll be joined this morning by Al Hassan Suhini, MP for Tamale North, Akwesi Konedu, MP for Menchia North, as we get into our talk segment talking about all these issues that have gone on in Parliament. Also, something for you to look forward to, Party in the Park. Multimedia's Family Time event is going to take place on December the 27th, and we will be giving you all the details. It's happening at Ebri Botanical Gardens, and we love to see you there. So we'll bring you a conversation on how you can get there, what you need to bring, what's going to be available, and all the exciting things that we have planned for you. And of course, to end the show, showbiz with IB. So pretty packed show for you this morning. Stay tuned in. Don't go anywhere. My name is Anima Animado. Like I said, we'll be doing this until 9 a.m. But coming up next is the AM News. Stay tuned in.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Good morning and welcome to the AM News. Our very first story, President Akufo-Addo has described as discriminatory and unacceptable the continuous singling out of Africa for travel bans in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. He's unhappy Netherlands, which first recorded the case of the Omicron strain, was not put on the red list, but some African countries, including South Africa, are being punished for being truthful in identifying the strain. He was addressing the European Parliament in Strasbourg, France.
Let me use this occasion to reiterate the strong opposition of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, whose authority I have the privilege to be current chair, to the decision taken by countries, including those in the EU, to single out African countries for the imposition of travel bans. Omicron has been discovered in over 40 countries, with reports indicating that this variant was present in the Netherlands way before it was discovered in South Africa. The world should be grateful to the South African scientists whose knowledge and expertise in genomic sequencing enabled them to identify the new variant. Plaudits, not the condemnation of their peoples, should have been their portion. Why is there not a travel ban imposed on the Netherlands but against South Africa, one might ask? I'm a firm believer in the statement that no one is safe until everyone is safe.
Meanwhile, travelers arriving in Ghana are pleading for a delay in the implementation of the no vaccine, no entry policy currently in force at the airport. The Ghana Health Service, in its new travel regulations, said all persons coming into the country must show proof of full vaccination before they are allowed entry. Airlines will also be charged an amount of $3,500 for each unvaccinated passenger they bring into Ghana. At least 100 shots of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been administered to unvaccinated travelers. But less than 24 hours into its implementation, the travelers want authorities to review the start date of the policy to allow maximum cooperation. Manuel Kranting spent a day at the Kotoka International Airport and now reports.
Effective midnight Tuesday, December 14, 2021, all persons arriving in Ghana must show proof of full vaccination before they are allowed entry into the country. This is part of new regulations released by the Ghana Health Service in anticipation of the influx of travelers as the festive season beckons. Close to 12 hours after the regulation kicked in, Joy News checks at the Immigration Service Department here at the Kotoka International Airport reveals about 102 persons arrived here unvaccinated. All of them have been made to receive the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. For a lot of the travelers who are arriving here at the Kotoka International Airport, this new regulation opens the spot to prevent further spread of the virus here.
I heard about it while I was in Dubai that all passengers coming into Ghana should be vaccinated. And I think it's a very good thing that Ghana is protecting its citizens and protecting those coming into the country. Everyone should be vaccinated if they're traveling, just to protect everyone that they'll be around.
It's a good thing that everybody should be vaccinated, because all over where I'm coming from, everyone is doing it. And the policies are good, so I think it's a good thing for us to also do the same. I don't get it. The reason is wherever we are coming from, Ghanaians like complaining. Wherever we are coming from, you can't complain like this. But I don't know why when they come here, they do otherwise.
For some others, this is coming too late. They would rather a longer notice was given ahead of the implementation of the policy.
Coming from London.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my second time coming this year. I used to live here.
Okay.
I mean, that kind of stuff.
What are you here for? Vacation?
Yeah, come to my family and stuff like that.
Okay. I see. You must have heard of that regulation on no vaccination, no entry.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite last minute, but if you're prepared for it, then your holiday wasn't ruined. But I feel like maybe a bit more time could have been given for other people that couldn't make it. I got some friends back home who are like only on their first jab. Okay. They haven't got time to get the second one, so it's a bit, it's a bit of a situation for them. But
allowed, because if the person doesn't have the information, it's not fair. And once the person is able to present the COVID negative, it's okay. And besides, the person will be tested again when you get on into Ghana. So it shouldn't be like need a vaccination to actually travel. Even though it's good, it protects self, but it shouldn't be the barrier to letting people in. And I think most people might not check the information. Like I said, if I were not to have it in my purse, maybe I wouldn't be allowed to travel.
After half of the first day of the implementation of the policy, more than 100 people have been administered with the Johnson & Johnson single-dose jab. According to Joy News checks with officials here at the airport, persons who refuse to take the jab would have to undergo a 14-day mandatory quarantine at their own cost before they are allowed access into the general population. This, the service hopes, will be an effective measure against the spread of the virus, especially the advent of the Omicron strain. From here at the Kotoka International Airport, my name is Manuel Cranting, reporting for Joy News.
Now, in the Buna East region, as part of a series of exercises taken by the Right to Information Commission to educate and sensitize the public on the RTI law and how it works, the Commission has held a public forum in Techiman. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Yao Sapong Boateng, amongst other things, mentioned that under the new RTI law, no office holder can hide behind the oath of secrecy to deny a requester the right to information. Correspondent Anas Sabit was at the function and came through with this report.
Right to Information Commission says it has stepped up public engagements to get more citizens participate in the implementation of the Right to Information Act. The Commission, as part of a series of exercises to help the citizenry better appreciate the new law, held a public lecture at the Techiman Punchemim Hall under the theme, "Your Right to Access Information and the Role of the Commission." Executive Secretary of the Commission, Yao Sapong Boateng, says the move would help the citizenry understand the application of the law.
So the purpose of today's program was to help reach out to the people of Ghana and help engage them in their understanding of the law and its implementation. And I believe that it was such an interactive session that we were able to address the confusion in the minds of people about the implementation and the realities of the Right to Information Act. Sure. So that is what our focus was on.
He again noted that the new law requires heads of institutions to release information to the public as and when requested.
Now, you'd realize that as public institutions, there's this feeling of secrecy in terms of what we have sworn to before taking office. This law has come to replace that process, so that if information is not exempt, you are required under the law to give it out. You cannot ride under the secrecy or the oath you have taken in office that allows you to keep public information as secret. So it's a new system we are engaging in that is supposed to push for more openness and transparency in our public discourse.
Some of the participants expressed satisfaction with the lecture and asked that the move will ensure transparency so far as information is concerned. Desmond Tutu is the Regional Information Officer.
This law is very important. Now that it has come into fruition, it will allow every public institution and private institution that uses public funds to give out information, because as the Executive Secretary rightly said, at first you go into any public institution to demand for information, they are unwilling to give you. But now there's a law at 989 and you are compelled to give out the information that the person is requesting for. So it will go a long way to ensure transparency, accountability in our public discourse, because you are forced to give out any information that the person is requesting.
He asked that the Information Services Department would further intensify its education and sensitization exercises to other areas in the region, together with the media, to increase awareness on the RTI Act.
I'm so happy that we have turned out in our numbers, and everybody now seems to understand the law more, and I think that we will do more education. We'll collaborate with the media, and the more education will help the people to understand the law more, and then they will be willing to give out information.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
And now in the Volta region, the Ghana Police Service and road users have lauded the efforts of the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide electricity at the Tovi police barrier in the whole West District. According to the police, they feel safe when discharging their duties at the barrier at night, but appealed for an extension of the street lights by at least 100 meters at both ends.
The Tovi barrier, which was mounted in 1979, was not connected to electricity until November 2021, following an appeal by the police. The barrier, which was to serve as a buffer between feuding factions in the Peki-Chito conflict, relied on dry cells and solar-powered lanterns at night. Following the provision of electricity and some street lights, police officers and road users say they feel safe at the barrier.
First year, when there was no light here, we were using bobo and lantern, and it made our work difficult because of there was reptiles, scorpions, snakes, somebody afar, and you are using torch. The person see you, even you will not see the person, but the person, because you are using light, the person see you more. And that those are any car approaching, you don't see the car. The time that you see the car approach you, you know, but now you can see afar because the light is there, the street light is go to bed. You can see any car approaching us, you see it before, or you see the color, you see the number.
To be in this bush with that light, master, it's very difficult. But now the light is here. I've seen, the moment I'm coming, I've seen that there's a change over here. You see, God bless you for your good work. Continue doing it like that. Serve the people, and the people will be happy with you. Thank you.
Now, me started by my road to I have been traveling the stretch since 2010. I have never seen lights here. It was difficult to identify if it were a police officer or armed robbers stopping us when we get to the barrier. But today, the place is well lighted. I can easily identify the police officers. We thank ECG for their good work. We are appealing that they erect street lights from here to Ho because robbers do disturb us on the stretch. The head of the Volta Regional Police Public Affairs Unit, DSP Elizabeth Efiatenge, however, appealed for an extension of the street lights.
The moment we got here, we saw how the personnel were going about their duties. They could see approaching vehicles. So if there's any danger coming, they can also be on high alert to ward off that particular threat that is coming. And so we are most grateful to the ECG. And we are also asking if the street lights could be extended further so that they can see very far if any danger is coming. They will see it ahead of time to be able to put themselves in readiness.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Bonvi Barrier.
And our very last story is coming to us from Kumasi. Now, the Christmas season is largely enjoyed by children who are frequently lavished with gifts. Love FM's Anita Sewa Ajoga investigates how youngsters are preparing for the Yuletide.
Restocking their goods, and this can only mean one thing: Christmas is here. Ahead of the festivities, parents get ready to make the season special for their kids. But how are children preparing for the celebration?
Last year, because of the COVID, we couldn't enjoy it. It wasn't so exciting. So this Christmas party, I want to enjoy. I want to buy my outing dress myself, because my mommy always buy it to me. As for this Christmas, I want to buy it myself.
I'm excited because last year the Christmas wasn't so exciting.
Why?
Because we were on lockdown. So but this year we will be doing everything we usually do. And when it's 31st watch night, we won't be doing that 1 hour those service. We'll be doing all service.
This year, dear, I'm planning to celebrate the Christmas well because I couldn't celebrate it last year like I wanted to celebrate it. And mommy has buy some shoes and some trowel and some shirts for me to celebrate the Christmas. And I'm saving some money to buy some toys.
I'm preparing for Christmas because I and my mommy, we are going for more. And you go there to have fun. And my friends, it just don't go here. I and my friends will be going there.
Every adult has New Year resolutions, but do children also have resolutions?
Next year, what I will do is that next year we will be in classes, and I want God to help me that I can learn more so that I can go to JHS 1 for more information about education.
I want to change in the way I dress and do other stuffs.
Next year, I want to be promoted to the next class so that I can study hard for my parents to be proud of me.
Let's celebrate the season with love and peace. Anita Sewa Ajogan reporting.
All right, well, that's it for AM News. Coming up next is the newspaper review with Elton, Brobe, and myself. Don't go anywhere. All right, well, welcome back. This is still the AM show. We're getting straight into the newspapers this morning. And my friend Elton has joined us from across the road. Hello, Elton.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. Getting ready for Christmas? Not yet.
Not yet?
No, not
What
yet.
are you waiting for?
I don't know, actually. I think I don't know. Maybe next week.
Next week will be Christmas itself.
Well, it's Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have the whole of next week. to kind of get ready. But yesterday, my sister and I were sitting down and kind of putting a Christmas budget together.
Okay.
We wanted to buy a goat.
A goat, okay.
Yeah, because we were thinking we were going to have, lots of friends over and stuff. But when we did the calculations and the remunerations and things...
The budget is overboard.
No, we decided that, no, it's okay.
You won't do the goat
We won't do again.
So what will you do?
We won't do anything anymore.
Hey. Why?
It's very, very serious. Because, when you want to buy a goat, so it's the goats. Then you have to think of the ginger, the paprika, the sabolai, the tomatoes, the onions. Then if you're going to make goat jollof, you have to buy the rice. If you're going to make goat soup, then you have to think of the cassava, the plantain, then the water, the drinks, the biscuits. It's a lot of things.
Yeah, but it's Christmas.
Yeah, but Christmas this year is a 3-day event.
Yeah, you have to eat.
Oh, no, we do our usual eba and pepe.
Really?
Yes. What are you doing? What are you
Eba and pepper on Christmas.
Yeah.
And they are going to accept it.
Challenge. The economy doesn't allow for things like that. So it's you hear from here.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
I'll do a barbecue on the 24th.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm inviting you officially.
Oh, wonderful. We'll be there.
Yeah, 24th night.
Oh, nice.
When I was like, we should have tea party on the 24th.
Tea party?
Yeah, in my home.
Hey, Elton, wait.
My daddy will have a tea party.
Wait, Echo, are you listening? Elton used to have a tea party
on the 24th. 26th, we'll have a party.
Wait. The tea party, no. Tea.
So that is usually in the evening. Tea, bread with egg and all that. We are ushering ourselves into Christmas. So that's 24th evening.
Tea party.
25th we go to church.
So you wait, relax. The tea party. So teacups.
Yeah, we have
sauces and
everything. Like we are preparing us. It's like a warm up.
And you were very bougie.
Yeah, it was good.
Please, how many of you used to do tea party?
Tea party 24th.
To get ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
So then the tea party.
Yeah, after tea party 25th we go to church. After church we'll have family dinner of a sort. But 26th is a grand thing. We'll have party. We invite other people to come in. We'll have another party on the 1st of January. So my Christmas was always good when I was growing up.
I can see that. So this year, 24th.
I'll have a barbecue in my
Oh, nice. Okay, what time, please?
In the evening. Let's say around 5 p.m.
We'll be there.
Somewhere around 10 p.m.
Oh, that's nice. We'll be there. That sounds very exciting. All right. Well, you can join us at Elton's house. It's also, but usually 24th is when a lot of the churches do Christmas carols.
Exactly, yeah.
So will we be doing carol? We should do like a little carol.
Multimedia used to have it. I don't know whether it's happening this
year.
No,
I mean in your house.
Alongside the barbecue.
It
won't be bad.
Oh, the barbecue is boom boom chat boom chat.
You know.
Hey, Elton. Okay. Well, hello. Good morning to Awal. Listening to us from up north. Thank you for tuning in and Merry Christmas in advance. All right. So he's sending a goat. Oh, wow. To who? To me or to you, Echo? Awal is sending me a goat. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How is the goat coming? By Chocho? From the north. Wow. Awal, you try me off air. Why? Let's discuss the logistics of the coming of the goats. Oh, that's fantastic.
So now all you need is the ingredients.
So now all I need is the
so we are
sabolai.
We are back
on track. Now that we have a goat, we are also taking donations for sabolai, intos, bakpeshito, all the things.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we get into the newspaper?
Of course, we need
before we get into the newspaper, I think for the first time this year, I was very, very proud of our president.
Tell me about it.
So, he went to the Parliament.
Yeah, the European Parliament in France.
Yes. And I really like the way he told them off about the travel. Let me finish my answer. Thank you. I really like the way he told them off about the way that they are treating Africa, especially South Africa, and the fact that they should actually laud the South African scientists for having the...
For being very truthful.
And also having the knowledge to be able to, identify that. And instead of peanut, I'm very, 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 very proud of I'm going to play a song for President Akufo-Addo this morning.
It was good. This is the European Parliament. Every country is represented. According to Akufo-Addo, Netherlands was the first country to discover.
Exactly. So how come they don't have a travel ban?
They were not put on the red list, but Africa, after being truthful and open with this matter, we are rather being discriminated.
But you know that he was standing there with some guyness, pa.
You know?
Because he knows that he's on point, especially because we are saying that you can't come to Ghana without the vaccinations. Yeah. And so he was standing in a good place to be able to make that assertion. So well done. You haven't won my heart yet, but that was a nice move. So, yeah, hats off to you. Okay.
So let's start with the papers. The Ghanaian Times is on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Make COVID-19 vaccines available to all, President Akufo-Addo tells global leaders, and we'll get into that very shortly. Commercial quantity or deposit in Oti region, good news, that's according to Jenapo. But the front page, the lead story is that 3.6 million people lack food. If I put it this way, they don't have chew at the right time.
Wow.
Yes, and we'll get to that story also very soon. Page 2 of the Ghanaian Times, 9 arrested for Uyoric and Skinman shooting remanded. 2 persons in judicial service received forgery, granted 110,000 bail. Hearing of pregnant Tadi woman kidnap case begins on January 6th. Very interesting story on the page 4 of the paper, which we'll get to shortly. Government in consultation to purchase new executive aircrafts, and this is coming from the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwu. Yeah, so we'll get to it. I mean, let me actually start with that story.
Yes.
And the Minister for Defense, Dominic Nitiwu, has underscored the need for a new wide-body executive aircraft for the Ghana Air Force for government business. Mr. Nitiwu said the absence of a wide body, I don't know what he means by wide body anyway, was affecting the operations of the Air Force, and that the CASA 295 currently being used was not suitable. Answering questions on the floor of Parliament in Accra yesterday, Mr. Nitiwu said the government was consulting with relevant stakeholders for the purchase of the aircraft to enable the Air Force to efficiently defend as expected. It must be noted that the CASA 295 is not suitable for government business in view of its design and features, making it a pure military aircraft. Until the government acquires a wide-body aircraft for the Ghana Air Force, the task assigned to it will continue to face major challenges and difficulties, Mr. Nitiwu told the House. The Speaker, because we do not have a Ghana Airways assets, paramount to have aircraft that can do government business. And then he talked about the logbook of the CASA 295, which is purely military aircraft. It's so full that it is not safe for us to continue to rely on the Air Force to be ferrying government officials. So this is Nitiwu's justification for the purchase of a new aircraft for the Ghana Air Force. But the main story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times is that about 3.6 million people in the country, 12% of the national population, are food insecure. And the 2030 Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis Survey has found majority of the food insecure, constituting 2.8 million, that's 78% of the sample household, live in the city, while 0.8 million, constituting 32% of the sample household, live in rural areas. Per the report, food insecurity does not mean there is hunger in Ghana, but that people do not have food at the right time, price, and place with the required nutritional value. It defined food security as a lack of consistent access to enough food for an active and healthy life, and food security as a physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutrition food by all people at all times to meet their dietary and food preference for an active and healthy, body. And then to the story that you are so excited about, President Akufo-Addo yesterday addressed the European Union Parliament in Strasbourg, France, and called on global leaders to help make COVID-19 vaccines available to all parts of the world. He also stressed the need to encourage everyone to take the jab to ensure that the fight against the pandemic is brought under control. President Akufo-Addo stated that COVID-19 had posed the greatest test to humanity in the initial decades of the 21st century in light of the ravages of the pandemic, which had affected all countries, rich or poor. According to President Akufo-Addo, the prediction of Africa going to be hit dramatically because of its relatively weak public health system, with streets being littered with dead bodies when the virus reached the continent, had not come to pass. And there's a quote that says, we were given credit. We're not given credit for quickly following the science as recommended when many leaders in Europe were still fighting ideological battles and seeking to lay blame on the scourge of the virus rather than uniting to fight it. At every stage, we in Africa have been dismayed to discover that every attempt was being made to make COVID-19 also an African disease. Thus, the narrative emerged that it was not really that Africa were not dying from the pandemic. We had to be covering up the true levels of infection. And he went on to say that the European Union must do more to make the vaccines available, victimizing or discrimination against Africa, putting Africa on some African countries on the red list, when in fact South Africa led the way in discovering the Omicron, rather unacceptable and something that we cannot live with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I get that. Any other stories?
Yeah, so the back page has Kotoko return for midweek action. Oli host Go Stars at Sogakope at 10 a.m. If you go to the other sports pages, the GFA Executive Committee members are meeting their Santehene today to deliberate on matters affecting football. And then Arsenal clash with West Ham in Groenland London derby, but we know that Aubameyang has been stripped of the captainship of Arsenal, and it doesn't look like he'll be selected for tonight's game. There are people who are of the view that they are raising issues about discrimination, racism here and there.
But I think it's more about performance.
He's not happy with it.
But it's about performance.
It's about performance and discipline.
Ah, well. Anyways, let me get into the daily graphic. And on the front page, births registry to be revamped. Local government minister. They're gathering primary data for development. Okay, so that's interesting. So in line with this, the head office of the registry in Accra will be relocated and digitally equipped to discharge its mandates, as well as efficiently exercise oversight responsibility for the registration of births, fetal deaths and deaths across the country. Unsavory vaccine politics will derail COVID-19 fights, President Akufo-Addo tells EU Parliament. Mandatory vaccination kicks off at KIA. Over 100 travellers jabbed. I don't know if you caught the news, but Manuel was at the airport.
Yeah, and some people had to be forced to take the jab when they arrive. I mean, I don't know how some people think that you will still come to the country without having full vaccination certificate. That to me, I don't know whether they got the information or they just
refuse to do it. Well, I guess they're having to do it. It's either that or just go back.
Exactly. I don't want to believe that we shouldn't compromise on this, on the safety of the populace, against some few people who don't want to abuse our laws.
Absolutely agree. ECOWAS threatens more sanctions against Mali. Court suspends mandatory COVID-19 vaccination order. So this is Kenya. A Kenyan High Court has suspended a government order to prevent those who are not fully vaccinated from accessing services and entering public places, such as national parks. There's still people who don't want to take the vaccination.
But this morning on the 6 a.m. news on Joy, the head of the vaccination program, he was in the voter region to review what has been done so far. And his conclusion is that they have had to virtually throw away some of the vaccines because folks in the voter region will not avail themselves to be vaccinated because of stigma and some other meanings they are reading into it. And so some of the vaccines got expired. And for the first time, he's admitting that the country will not be able to meet the 20 million target vaccination by the end of this year, when we have just 15 days to wrap up the year.
Oh, well. Violence against women must be checked. I'm enjoying the offers in the newspaper. I think you noticed that my mind drifted. I drifted off a little because there seem to be some good offers. I'm looking at the PS5s and the watches, and it's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Well, let's clear them before Christmas.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. GAMFED adopts mobile ICT learning to improve school attendance. There's an organization that's advising the woman called She. Oh, it's a non-governmental organization. That's a very nice name, the woman called She. Okay, is asking that we monitor children's internet use. And it's true, if you have kids, they get up to all sorts on the internet. Unsavory vaccine politics will derail COVID-19 fight. Mandatory vaccination. Okay, those stories were on the front page. Let's do the center spread. Vice President launches TVET service. So that's interesting. UNICEF calls for renewed commitment to children's welfare. That's the center spread of the Daily Graphic. And let me just skip to the back page. Okay, GHS launches campaign to prevent maternal deaths. I think last year or so the maternal deaths, the number was coming down.
Yes.
Yeah, really coming down. And so, okay, GHS is launching a campaign to prevent that. And Ochehene marks day with cleanup. Okay, that's it for the Daily Graphic.
The Daily Statesman lead story, TVET's education get boost, and this is in an attempt to bring together all technical and vocational programs run by 19 different ministries under one umbrella. The government has launched the Ghana Technical and Vocational Education and Training Service, and this was done by the Vice President yesterday. National Football amputee team urged to stop internal fighting. I don't know whether the internal fighting led them to go to Tanzania
without return tickets.
So that's the advice coming from the Minister for Youth and Sports when they presented the trophy they won to the minister. And Samson Dean, president of the Ghana Paralympics Association, apologized to the minister on behalf of the team for participating in the event without notifying the ministry. But the advice is that they should stop the internal fight. Member of the Council of State says, plot against my business politically instigated. And this is Eunice Asomahine, a member of the Council of State and Chief Executive Officer of La Bianca Company Limited, one of the biggest frozen foods companies in Ghana, says the recent plot by some competitors to collapse her business were politically instigated. The Council of State member who owns another company called Our Frozen Food has alleged that there is so much power play within the governing MPP that some party gurus see her becoming financially too powerful for their liking. According to her, after reporting her to the president for no wrong done, detractors still seemed not to be happy and therefore resorted to all means to bring her on her knees. But Ms. Asomahine says she's just a vessel being used by God to help humanity and has therefore urged her critics to rather fight the Almighty if they feel threatened or uncomfortable with her financial breakthrough. Some stories here in the Statesman newspaper. Finally, the Ministry of Finance has said that the Ghana Revenue Authority will manage all the processes for the collection of the proposed e-levy. It has therefore asked the public to ignore publication which indicated that the government had dropped the allocation of 241.9 million Ghana cedis for the e-levy transaction services in the 2022 budget, and it will therefore not appear in the appropriation. But the ministry has also asked the public to ignore the viral publication which further alleged that a private company had been awarded a contract to collect the e-levy. The finance ministry in a statement debunked the allegation, saying they are all untrue. Now, what we are all waiting to see is appropriation bill that will be laid in Parliament today, and whether or not it will capture e-levy, and at what percentage will it appear in appropriation bill, and whether the 241 million Ghana cedis will be allocated to GRA for the collection.
For the collection.
And whether a middleman will appear or not. These are...
It's going to be another interesting day in Parliament.
Absolutely. Today and tomorrow. If the House will go on recess on Friday, then it will have to pass appropriation before the end of the week. Last but one page, foreign stories. Uganda opposition leader Bobi Wine under house arrest. I wonder how many times this guy will be arrested
Charlie?
in his lifetime.
Charlie?
Yeah, it looks like every time he steps out of the house, he's arrested, he's taken back to the house and all that. Yeah, COVID-19, Prime Minister faces big rebellion as MPs vote on new restriction. And I'm so happy we are not in the UK, you are in Ghana, because the prediction is that half of the country will have to be isolating on the 25th because of the rise in cases of COVID-19 and the Omicron. All right, so
it's going to be a quiet Christmas.
It's absolutely going to be.
I mean, but then again, I mean, from my experience being in the UK for over a lot of Christmases, most Christmas days are quite quiet anyways. Yeah. I think the tubes don't work. I can't remember.
Don't work on the 25th.
They don't work on Christmas Day. I don't think buses work either. So it's unless you're driving, it's really difficult going on. And lots of Londoners don't really drive.
Exactly.
And then it's probably cold and snowing, so you definitely won't be inside. The upside is that, of course, you can have family and all all of that. But I mean, so I loved Christmas and anyway.
So that's your statement.
Okay, let me do the daily guide. Otunfor coins out. Otunfor gold coins details out. So Otunfor has these commemorative gold coins that are being unveiled. They were unveiled actually. KGL acquired the first commemorative gold coin for 1 million cedis in support of Asante Man development. Now these are to celebrate him as the peacekeeping man of the year, or something like that. Backbone OK's NDC motion from Dubai, and share COVID vaccines worldwide. That's Nana to the EU. Okay, Arctic heat record is like Mediterranean. That's according to UN. So the highest temperature ever recorded in the Arctic, 38 degrees Celsius, has been officially confirmed, sounding alarm bells over Earth's changing climate. The WMO on Tuesday verified the record reported in the Siberian town on 20th June last year. The temperature was 18 degrees Celsius higher than the area's average daily maximum for June. And as the world is getting hotter, we're getting more worried about the fact that our ice deposits will begin to melt. And the countries that are actually below sea level could disappear. Completely.
That's very serious.
Like the Maldives, which I really want, because I can't imagine it not existing anymore. No to military rule. Sudan protesters return to streets. Belarusian opposition leader jailed for 18 years. Okay. Let's do some entertainment. Martha Ankuma goes behind the camera. Tobi Afede adjudged Ghana's most outstanding chief in 2021. Thames reflects on Ugandan prison experience. If you don't know who Thames is, she's a lady who sang You Don't Need No Other Body with Wizkid. And then Justin Bieber came on that song as well. Megan Thee Stallion dedicates humanitarian award to late grandmother. There's more entertainment stories on page 14. Sarkodie for MTN Pulse Hangouts, and Neil and Tateville's fans are Just a Voice concert. Also, Obiba Sly Collins fights corruption. A new video. Backpage, GFA storms Manchester today. Arsenal strips Aubameyang of captaincy. And apparently he has a record for being a reputation for being late to some of these things.
They have the view that he's not showing leadership. So
exactly. GA endorses second Saturday marathon, and rugby league hits Tamale. All right, that's it for the daily guide.
The Business and Financial Times, there's good news finally for the Volta River Authority after 9 years of running the company and not making profits. So finally, the Volta River Authority made a profit of 156 million Ghana cedis in the year 2020 fiscal year, up from a loss of 127 million cedis the previous year. Last year's profit brings to an end a streak of losses in the last 9 years and was achieved through reduction in cost, leveraging technology, and an aggressive export strategy. VRA Chief Executive Officer Emmanuel Mtwidankwa told the BNFT a recovery plan introduced in 2017 played a pivotal role in guiding the state-owned power generator and supply back to the path for profitability. The most important thing, I think, for all state institutions is to control your costs and do some work on your revenue. So it means that state enterprises can make profit if they put their minds to it. After 9 years, VRA is now posting profits of 156 million Ghana cedis, and basically cutting costs, leveraging technology. That's been the driving force behind the new VRA that we are seeing. Ghana Stock Exchange celebrates stakeholders Ochimman Zoomlion Clean Shebi to commemorate Ochihene's 71st birthday, which is today. So we say happy birthday to the Ochihene Osajifo Amoitia of Penny. Regulate online forest trading platform to make revenue. That's an advice. Bank of Ghana organizes workshop on money laundering for rural banks. And so basically, if you get the Business and Financial Times, all the business stories that you need on this Wednesday morning, you will have them.
Okay. You're going to Kumasi this weekend,
Kumasi,
aren't you?
this weekend on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I I saw the shift this morning. Are you working Christmas or New Year?
I'm working Christmas too, so...
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
you'll be here next
I'll
week.
be here,
And then you'll be off the following week.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, anyways, thank you for joining us this morning.
I'm grateful.
We'll do this again tomorrow morning. But shall we just go to My Joy Online really quickly? We have about 2 minutes before we have to hand over to the sports team. So myjoyonline.com, please. Okay, whilst we're waiting, okay, there we are. Bosman Asari and other EC officials kicked out of meeting with Parliament for failing to justify Jean Mensa's absence. So apparently there was a meeting and they were supposed to go and meet
the Special Budget Committee.
The special, to discuss,
their budget
questions on their budget for.
Yeah, so usually you go and then you defend your budget.
So why wasn't Jean Mensa there?
They could not produce any tangible reason. That's the reason why the MPs asked them to go and bring her. Otherwise, they will not listen to them. If you also don't get your budget approved, it means that you go into 2022 without any meaningful spending power.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Other stories on myjoyonline.com. I once confronted an evasive defaulter at my mother's funeral over deaths. So that's Kofi Amabe. Presidential jets not on the priority list of Ghana Air Force. Okujeto Ablakwa made COVID-19 vaccines available to all parts of the world. Akufo-Addo to the EU. EFL did not specify why they broke away. Fix the country movement. I'm following that story.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
the way some other external influencers are dividing their front.
Yeah, it seems like. I was reading Edwin Appiah's post on Facebook, and he was talking about the fact that Fix the Country movement seems to be influenced a little bit by some political parties, and then he talks about Ernesto, and who he is as a person. So interesting conversation there. If you head on social media, I'm sure you can find it. But that's it from us for news review, newspaper review, and online review. Of course, the show continues after this with the sports. Muftar will be joining us, and then we'll have our honourable members of Parliament joining us this morning to have a myriad of conversations on different issues, and then we'll be getting into all of that. So also showbiz coming up, and I'll be telling you about the party in the park that's happening on December 27th. Lots more here on the AM show. Don't go in. Welcome back. This is still the AM show, and courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, we have AM Business. Today, Charles IT explores why there may be a dip in the visits of Africans from the diaspora to Ghana this Yuletide.
Ghana is ready for investment. The words of government as an aggressive campaign to attract foreign capital continues. It started with a successful year of return in 2019, which saw hundreds of Ghanaians in the diaspora, including African Americans, trace their roots home. This time around, government is taking the initiative a notch higher in an ambitious program beyond the return. The 10-year program has been given a legal backing through the Diaspora Engagement Policy. Akwesi Ewa Abibio is the Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President.
This engagement policy defines the framework and the operators and the agreed action plan that has to take place to enable the diaspora to be brought in as part of a partner to our development.
Great, impressive. But of course, others might also be of the view that why don't you center your energies on angel investors in Ghana rather than having to stretch so thin to reach out to the diaspora and investment?
I think we are not saying that we are not going to reach out to the angel investors as well. These two things are not mutually exclusive. That means that you can do both. You really have an asset outside of your borders that you can reach out to. When we talk about the Ghana without aid, beyond aid, we are looking at a situation where we are looking to see some deficits in our financing, in our investments, and therefore we need to look beyond that initiative to see how we can reach out to people that have got interest in Ghana. Remember, they are Ghanaians. They happen to just be outside of the borders of the country. And for the historical Africans, for those who are showing interest in coming back to Africa, they present an opportunity, a potential to tap into. So I see those two things working together. The angels aspect of reaching out to, partners and working with them is all, in the same bowl. And we are looking to, have a nice soup.
The coronavirus has had a toll on tourism. Ghana is no exception, as the tourism sector lost billions of cedis to the pandemic. Akwesia Bebio says there is a plan to deepen interest.
This ending of this month would be the beginning of Panafest. We are again expecting people to start streaming in, gradually. It looks like once travel restrictions have been lifted in the US, and we also have a very good record of our management of the COVID, people have got the confidence that they should be coming back to us, and that we should also be putting in the measures that will enable us to contain any future outbreak. That is the key thing for us. With the meeting of the management of the COVID team on a regular basis to assess the situation and to review what has to be done, we have every confidence that we can manage going forward. Of course, that's what we are all aiming at, to bring them back anyway. So,
but do you have a plan?
Yeah, that is what we are talking about there. This whole diaspora engagement policy is, and part of this beyond the return, is to fashion out some concrete plans that will deal with these issues.
As government embarks on an ambitious beyond the return initiative to woo diaspora investment, a Ghanaian in the diaspora, Francis Flair, who is a customer service specialist based in the US, says the success of this program rests on how strict and impressive customer service will be in the country. I sat with him for a discussion on customer service through the eyes of the diaspora.
It's only in Ghana the business think they're doing the customer a favor. But if you are there for the customer, you care about them, they will even care about you more, right? I know customers who just come in to do business because they knew the business was struggling. They want the business to be around when this was over. So yes, they may not have laid off employees as much as they did, but customers are going to do whatever it takes to keep the brands they love. And that's why you have to be looking for loyalty, not satisfaction.
Great. So I want us to end this discussion on a broad perspective. Once again, Beyond the Return happens this year, and it's into somewhere next year.
Yes.
And with that comes the pressure on government to, as you rightly stated, maintain the standards that saw the year of return successful. From your perspective as a customer service professional, so what instruments should government use to ensure that we're not just bringing in diaspora investment, but we're also keeping them in the medium to long term? I wanted to speak to the national, pressures of customer service.
Yes, I think we need to start focusing on the customer. We need to remember who the boss is at the end of the day. It's not the businesses, it's not the government. It's the people who come in to spend money with us, right? The people who keep the business going. And so in order to move forward and to make sure that we have the people coming back, recommending and referring us to their friends and family to keep this economy going, we need to make sure that we are focusing on them and doing whatever it takes to make them happy.
How can we make them happy?
Well, you listen to them and you make sure that you systematize those standards, right? It cannot be one of those things like flavor of the month, right? We just did it for this time alone. Because what is going to happen is the message gets out, they come back, it's not the same, and then they go back and say a different thing, and then we lose it all at the end of the day. So it's important that we are systematizing those standards, but that is going to take some time. Are we ready for that? I don't know. Do we know how to do that? I don't know. Are we willing to invest in it? I don't know. I mean, that's a question for every business to answer. If this is important to you, if it's about your primary aim of acquiring and retaining customers, then I think that should be very, very important to you as a business.
What I mostly do is appropriate inspirations from the Ewa and Asante Kente cloth and also the spider's web, where I've used in the Edinkra symbology and my own traditional patterns and symbols, which I call anansinism. So it is this process that I appropriate on the human skin. I paint on the human skin actually, and with the knowledge behind that is I want to preserve all the collective knowledge and wisdom by our ancestors due to the gradual evolution of our contemporary culture, because each and every day we are still actually getting new inspiration from different cultures, and we tend to forget our previous traditions and all that. So I just want to keep all that knowledge. And
Oscar Mawuli Awuku is an upcoming disciplinary artist whose works have high demand in the diaspora. Being an expressionist artist, Mawuli details how economic paths for the industry will be created through the Beyond the Return program.
The Beyond the Return should throw more light to artisans or artists on the continent, because it shouldn't purposely be about the cultural performances, but if artists are given a chance to actually perform, because performance actually cuts across all aspects of the arts. So if we are given a chance to actually perform, it's going to bring out a great excitement to not only the cultural sector in the arts industry.
The tourism minister, Mohammed Awal, is upbeat about the prospects of this initiative.
We've launched the Beyond the Return program. The last couple of days, we were expecting 250,000 people from around the world, and they will come here. General Manager, let us keep that extraordinary Ghanaian hospitality. Let us train our people. Let us make sure that Ghana becomes Sanashore, the most valuable brand in Africa. So that over the next 10 years, we would say that we will contribute a lot to making Ghana an invaluable contribution to tourism in Africa. We want to eat Ghana, we want to sell Ghana. As a ministry, as governments, we embarked on a domestic tourism drive to bring a lot of people, Ghanaians, to go around. I want to urge you and to entreat you that help us get Ghanaians to move around.
Close to $3 billion was gained from the year of return in 2019. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, Akwesi Ewia Abibio is hopeful the 10-year Beyond the Return will rake in triple what was gained in 2019.
I'm excited that we have the opportunity to do this once more for the next 10 years. And that we have a team in place, and that we are going to be engaging the diaspora, and they should look forward to us coming up with programs that will really excite them to come over. But we are not just looking to see that they come over and just go back, but they have repeated visits, and that they invest in Ghana, that they eat Ghana, wear Ghana, drink Ghana, everything Ghana continues to be the agenda. I think with our current level of development, with us remaining, the best place to invest in Africa, not just in Africa, possibly with the best growth of, our economy. We provide the opportunities for investors to have a look at what we are doing and to be part of it. With all the discoveries that we are making in our lithium, fields and oil fields, and with the vast sector of the agricultural land that is begging for us to fully utilize it, with all the technologies that are available that are going to enable the diaspora to do virtual farming. We are entreating the people in the diaspora to be part and parcel of this forward journey.
For Joy Business, I'm Charles Aite reporting.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Hi, welcome back. This is still the AM show, and we're getting into our conversation. I'm getting quite used to having parliamentarians here with me almost every day. It's been an exciting few weeks. Some would call it exciting, some would call it excruciating. We've all just been watching for some sort of resolution and some sort of way forward. Yesterday was very exciting, though, wasn't it? We had Roxton and I can't remember the other one's name here, but it was really great having both of them in here. Collins, yes, Collins, thank you. They took over the show. Hopefully, the honourable members of parliament that I have in the studio today won't take over the show, and I won't have to be banging on tables. But let's get into it. We have Al-Hassan Zihini, MP for Tamale North, and Akwesi Konedu, MP for Menchia North. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, anyone.
Good morning.
Thank you.
All right, so 3 major issues that we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the appropriations bill going on the floor of Parliament. We want to talk about Operation Halt, and then also talk about the Health Ministry and the concerns that the minority raised about spending when it comes to COVID-19. And yesterday, your colleagues who were here, really got into it when it came to explaining all the accountability that has been shown by the government when it comes to the COVID-19 spending. So it was interesting that that came up yesterday. But I think I want to start with the budget and how far that's going. So today we're going to find out all the details of the budget, how much exactly is going to be spent, and all of that. So it's interesting, though. Does this mean that, and let me ask you this, does it mean that since we're moving forward with this appropriations thing, that we're accepting the budget?
Well, anyway, first of all, I thought that hijacking your show made your work easier.
Yesterday I was banging on tables. I don't know about that.
Well, that's just by the way. I will say it doesn't mean that we have accepted the illegality that we still believe was done by the majority a couple of weeks ago in relation to the charade of passing the budget that was rejected the previous week. According to the records of Parliament, the 2022 budget was rejected by the House. The following week on Tuesday, again, according to the records of the House, that rejection was rescinded by the majority group engaged in an illegality. But as we all know, Parliament is a master of its own rules, governed by the Constitution, by the standing audits, and by its practices. That is what some people will call convention. We also know by law that when a court gives a ruling, no matter how flawed that ruling is, it remains binding until it is overturned. And that is why, even though the majority group believed that we did not reject the budget, they still engaged in an activity of rescinding the decision that we took. That was an acknowledgement of something that was binding, that had to be removed. So, as a minority group, and that is what people must appreciate, we are not irresponsible. We are not irrational. Our focus is not to frustrate government business. We simply want to apply the rules and regulations and go through the right processes of challenging whatever we have issues with. And so, even though we disagree with what they did by, suggesting that they had overturned what we did in rejecting the budget, as things stand now, it is, if I'm permitted to say, the law of the House.
Okay.
Until it is overturned.
Okay.
And our leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, filed a motion. In fact, he moved the motion on the floor, which was seconded by Honorable Muhammad Yaruga, to stand down what they did, to rescind what they did, so that the finance minister could do the right thing by presenting the amended budget for consideration. The speaker who was presiding, who has a lot of powers and discretionary powers at that, decided that in a very weird manner, he was not going to admit the motion. But by his conduct on that day, he actually admitted the motion, because once a motion is moved and seconded and you call for debates, it gets out of your control. You no longer, as speaker, determine the outcome of that motion. But he claims that even by that conduct, as recorded by the votes and proceedings of the previous day, he did not intend to, admit the motion, and so he dismissed it.
Okay.
Which we followed up with a written substantive motion as required by our standing order. So the minority leader served notice that he was going to challenge that ruling, and he did. And again, he has used his discretionary powers as Speaker to say he will not entertain that motion. But being law-abiding, being objective as we are, we respect that decision. Okay. Our intention is not to be disruptive. So we respect that decision even as we disagree with it. So what we have done is that the budget approval goes through 3 processes. So you have the approval of the policy. So this whole hula baloo is over the policy as to whether the policy is approved or not. Then you have the second process, which is the estimates that the committees handle and approve or not approve. So in the absence of Mr. Speaker, because that's what the acting speaker told us, that because he is acting speaker and has the discretionary power of admitting a motion or not, he will not admit the motion. Okay. So there's no other way we can go about it until we wait for the substantive speaker to come. All right, so we then moved to the second stage, that is the committee stage. Okay. To consider the estimates. And a lot of interesting things are coming up, at the various committees. And it is clear, I'm sure that came up for discussion yesterday, that based on some of the findings that we are getting at the committee level, some of the committees will not have their estimates approved. Okay. Like yesterday, the Electoral Commission had to be walked out of the place.
And the Communications Ministry.
And the Communication Ministry as well, because of what? So the determination to represent the good people of Ghana and to demand answers from this government is unwavering as far as the minority is concerned. Okay. No matter, the attempt to abuse the authority that they have currently, we will continue to find ways to represent the people in the manner that they want us to represent them. Right. Okay. So after the estimates is then the appropriation. Okay. So it is what happens at the committee level that will determine what will be put on the appropriation, which will then be brought to the plenary again for a vote. Then beyond that is also the bill to introduce the e-levy. So people need to understand these processes. Okay. And not begin to think that, the minority has... The fight is structured and it is in different, phases. And the bill for the e-levy will also eventually have to be put before the House. And as a caucus led by our leader, we have served notice that we will be opposed to that e-levy in particular, no matter the form that, it comes into the House. Okay. And so the bill will also be brought and a decision will be taken on it. So that is what is happening currently. Okay. The committees are sitting, and when Mr. Speaker returns and resumes his seat, the minority will file the motion again and see how he will treat that motion. Okay. And if it comes to a vote, we will have to vote on that motion to determine whether the budget has really been properly approved. The policy of the budget has been properly approved or not. Okay, so 2 things. You would be willing at some point to take us weeks back when the Speaker comes back, from what you're saying. And secondly, as far as concession speeches go, that's a fantastic one that you just gave us. Concession speeches. I didn't think I was giving a concession. No, I'm just teasing you. Yeah, I know, because we have conceded to nothing. Yes. No, but in a way, it looks like you've kind of had to just sit back, because it doesn't look like things have gone the way that you've wanted to. I mean, yes, over the course of the conversations we have, we know that you still have the power when it comes to committee levels and stuff. But I think that the substantive speaker not being around didn't really... You see, the substantive speaker is not around, the only thing you can do is to disrupt the House. Once the speaker has discretionary powers. So the speaker says, I won't listen to you. Yeah. What are you going to do? No. Disrupt the House? No, you can't. We are not, and the point is that we are not a disruptive group. Yes, indeed. We are not a disruptive group. We, at every point in time, will insist that the right things be done. Okay. As we stand now, the right thing is what the speaker has done, even as we disagree with it, because he has a discretionary power to admit our motion or not. Yeah. So he has done the right thing. Okay. But and we have challenged it as we are supposed to. And he has still rejected it.
Okay, so there's not much.
There's not much you can do about the policy as things stand now.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is to, as they say, kick the ball down the road.
Okay.
And go to the committee and continue the second phase of the fight.
Okay.
You know, until you have the opportunity to undo what you feel.
You would be willing to do that, though. I mean, start this whole process again?
Well, you see, it should not be the concern of the ordinary Ghanaian or the minority. It should be the worry of those in government, because they are supposed to govern. But unfortunately, in all of this, what you see is pomposity, is egoistic, approach to this discussion, and arrogance, as if they have nothing to lose. But they are supposed to exercise a lot of restraint and responsibility because of the responsibility the people of Ghana have entrusted to them. But you don't see them even giving a toss as to whether it's such a big deal for us to go back and start all over again. They seem to still be living in the old times where they had the majority to do whatever they wanted in this country and through Parliament. They no longer have that, and they need to wake up and understand that Ghanaians gave this country a hung Parliament for a reason. And that is where I agree with Otumfuo when he says that the government must be humble enough to listen to the views of the opposition, and as in this case the minority, to fine-tune government policy. The intention of our group is not to determine government policy, but it is to fine-tune as we pick the concerns from the ordinary people.
Okay.
And so they must have that, humility to listen. But like he said, if they do not listen, the people are watching, and the people at the right time will make a decision on how they have been governed. Okay. And I hope that decision will be loud and clear.
Akwesi, thank you so much for your patience. You have been very patient and allowed Honorable here to make his submissions. What's your response? What do you think? Is your team arrogant, pompous? I've heard those words thrown about quite a lot in the past few days. Apparently lacking humility, not caring about the Ghanaian people when it comes to things like the e-levy. Is that true?
Let me first say a very good morning to our viewers. And I don't really want to stress much on the words that are being used.
Perception is important, and you do know that NPP does have that. Well, people perceive that about the NPP. Non-NPP people do perceive that about you, and the fact that the 1.5% e-levy still stands at 1.5% is not exactly a good look per se.
It stands at 1.75.
1.75.
As we sit now, none of us here, as members of Parliament, even have seen the bill. The bill that would introduce the e-levy will do all of these technicalities about it. That is why consultations are being done.
So there's a possibility that this morning it will not be 1.75?
So we have to wait for that bill.
Okay, but you would know, though. I mean, the minority, for example, would know if you had been willing to reduce it. So far, from all the parliamentarians that I've spoken to, no one has given any
Because up until the bill is finally done and laid, nobody speaks to the bill, as in what is in the bill as to how it is being done. Because obviously it will be the person's imaginations, discussions, and the rest.
Okay.
But when the final details are brought, that is when you can probably speak to it in the manner that we are speaking to it now.
That's this morning, right?
It depends as to when. Because that is the duty of the Finance Committee, the Ministry of Finance, to do that. So they will be bringing that bill for us to consider. But however, I mean, if you say for non-NPP people feel like, but there are so many other Ghanaians who believe and feel. And I've always known, that is why we have voted into power, that this party, when forms government, is the best party or the best government for this country.
I mean, so the hung parliament may suggest
and that is where the problem then comes in. The hung parliament doesn't suggest otherwise.
It does suggest that consistency level people are not as comfortable. I mean, anyway, this conversation is not about president.
Currently, as we sit, yes. So we should not be even going there. But now, currently, as I sit here, I've had a peep into what is going to happen in the future. Okay. When I talk about the future, just after we've left here in Parliament and the days thereafter. Okay. Because if I'm being told, or if I'm being able to deduce from what I've heard this morning, that we are probably going to start again to debate the policy or the principle of the budget. Then after the appropriation and everything is done again, and probably tells you that regardless of what would happen, people are not even content as to what the processes have been until now, and that they probably would want to drag everybody with an understanding and an explanation to the ordinary person who doesn't really understand the modus operandi or the intent of my brothers on the other side as to why they would want to do what they would want to do. I mean, if you tell me that because we had 169 and now we don't have that, and because you also have the numbers and you are going to use that numbers, practically that is what you are telling me, to frustrate every single activity and dictate the pace of our governance should be. That is a problem. I think that is exactly what I have deduced and I've heard. Our interpretation as to what we are hearing or what we place on it is personal, subjective, and the ordinary person must also understand the position of what we are hearing. Why? You are here. And my brother just told us that they are waiting for the substantive speaker to come, raise the motion again about whether the budget has been passed in principle.
You do get
policy.
why, though, right?
What do I get?
Why the issue, from what I have picked up speaking to parliamentarians, and if you go on social media, this is a thing that has caused a lot of debate for a lot of Ghanaians. It's about the casting vote and the other vote. You know, whether the first deputy speaker, if he's counted as part of the 137, if he's not part of the 137, and what that means. And remember that
this should not be a matter that we should even be going back to discuss. And it's a very simple matter. When we read those articles, I think we've belittled this argument, we've debated it, we've battered it, and there is no need for us to go back. But when it's raised again, there is the need for us to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Why? You are talking about forum a quorum to make a decision, and forum a quorum to do government business or do parliamentary work. Those are two different issues altogether. The first one in Article 102 has to do with 1/3 of Parliament. Mm-hmm. The one in Article 104 has to do with majority, more than 1/2 of members of Parliament present yes. Before even that decision can be laid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you get that number, it is not compulsory for all the 138 members of Parliament to vote yes.
Yes, we get that, yeah.
So what is the argument again? So what is the argument? Let me ask you. Now he is a member of Parliament and he was there, and we have asked him to then chair. So now we have the 138. So he can be counted as one of the 138.
The argument is that it's 137 because he is not a sitting member in that.
Because when it comes to voting, that is where you raise the argument.
No, I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Yes, it is not a problem. Okay. I'm also raising answers to the questions that you are raising. That immediately you would want to pose a question, you must know whether there are elected members of Parliament, 138, which is more than half.
Okay, I've read the standing orders.
I have also read it. I've understood it. I've read the Constitution.
But like
I understand
you said, it's subject to, what was it? It's personal, it's subjective, and no, I think this
it is not personal and subjective. When it comes to the law, there is a way to interpret the law and apply it. But when it comes to argument and the understanding that you place on people's ideas that they express, that is subjective. So don't get me wrong. They are two different things.
Okay.
The law states what it is, but our understanding of what major or ordinary discourse would be is subjective. But when you are interpreting the law, there are rules as to how to interpret laws. So don't get the two.
Okay,
so
I'm just going to move on from that, because otherwise
you must first and foremost establish, are there 138 elected members of Parliament in the room? You choose one to go and sit before you can even pose that question. So we've gone past that area. We've gone past that. We've gone past the approval.
Well, clearly we haven't, because the minority are saying that when the speaker. So we haven't gone back.
Yes.
We haven't gone past.
We've gone past that. He agrees we've gone past that. Up until they set the wheels back again, of which they are good at doing that. I don't have a problem with that. You see, that is why they say that at committee levels and using the estimate, they are going to use parts of some of these committees to create a certain whole, so that we cannot jump over as a country to have the appropriation bill passed. Because, for instance, if there are some committees who would tell me ordinarily now that they've just thrown out, then look at how we threw out the communications ministry, we threw out the Electoral Commission. And
okay, but let me ask you something. This communications ministry, and we're not going to talk about it in depth, just when they say that they've thrown it out, is it fair that for the past 6 years we've not gotten a breakdown of how monies have been spent, you know, NCA revenue?
But
Is it fair? Forget about it being fair to the minority. Is it fair to Ghanaians?
So
that getting information becomes a little bit...
You see the problem that we have? It should have been previous, but not now. So you must also be blaming them who are raising it now. So if not for an opportunity of budget, you probably wouldn't have raised it.
Okay, please, why
we have, you see, anyway, wait.
You want me to answer it?
We, as parliamentarians, would have to play oversight responsibility over all of these institutions, and that is through our committees. The laws that set up all of these institutions and the rest, ask for annual reports. Do we demand them? Or we wait till budget time to demand them? Okay. If they are not bringing, wait, what moves have we made? We ask questions on the floor of Parliament.
Okay.
Show me some of the questions that have been asked about some of these reports.
Just go
and now you see.
Just go and read the debate.
Don't worry.
The budget debate for 2021. Because you asked the question. Look, the reports have been requested for in the past, but they have been ignored. Fortunately,
2021, we are in 2020.
Fortunately,
they ignored.
No. He is saying, look, but that didn't surprise you.
What I'm saying is that
that didn't surprise you.
The minority members have always requested this report. They didn't have the numbers to fight it. Now
you see the interesting. No, you see the interesting bit.
They could.
So at that time, because you had no numbers, you could not raise issues for all of us to hear.
No, that is why I'm saying that.
Have you ever heard that before?
I think that when you're negotiating, you either negotiate from a weak point of
the House.
No, you see, aren't you making a fact about some of these things that are not real, but you are concocting now?
I'm saying that raising it for people to hear. There is a process of raising it for people to hear.
No problem.
That process is raising it on the floor, which becomes the record of the House. The media does not carry everything that is raised on the floor. So the best way to know, the best way to know if it has been raised in the past is to check the Hansard. So when you check the Hansard, you find that it's been raised in the past. But then we're told that minority, you have your say, and we have our way. That has been the mantra. This time around, the government has not woken up to the reality that the minority no longer just have their say, but they can have their way also. So and that is how to inform the policy.
Okay,
so now, because you have the numbers, suppose you have the numbers 137, so you are going to use that to stampede, block every single activity that the government would want to do. That is what you are trying to tell me. And you see, it is interesting.
Activity.
Of course, yes, because it is not a bit. It is not a bit much.
Every single activity.
Why do I say so?
Why do you say
because yes, the budget will carry us into 2020 and determine whatever government can do or cannot do. Everything outside the budget must be brought back.
Okay.
So if you are trying to use numbers in terms of what you have to block, to stampede, in all its aspects and the rest, I mean, I find that very interesting. And now you see, even to present the reports of these committees, we have been told some of them will, and even getting to the appropriation and even laying of the e-levy. But I know, you see, you cannot tell me here now that in all forms, as a minority group, you would block the e-levy. Because we all know that when the minority leader went for the communications event, he made it very clear that the understanding of what he's had, now his position about it entirety being thrown away is off. These were words that he said, and that he would agree to a certain leverage.
No.
No, that is exactly what he said. No, he said that the understanding.
And what did he say after?
No, you see, that is the position that we now find it very extremely difficult. So now we just change ourselves because
for you if you will allow
don't make it easy for anybody. Make it easy for the ordinary Ghanaian because
they understand. The ordinary
you are only changing your positions because of the
ordinary Ghanaian
because of how you want to frame things for the ordinary person to understand that we came. However, you would want it to crash so that we can have somewhere to stand and make all of these arguments. Our role to play, to have this oversight, I would not want anybody to believe that that should be taken away from anybody. But however, it should not also be seen that because of the numbers that you now have, you would want to use that to determine government policies, government processes, government procedures, and even stampede the processes. As if this is not included in the budget, we are not doing that. I mean, all of these arguments have been heard. Now, you see, because of the processes that we would want to go through, do consultation, bring on board every single individual, we are going to accommodate all of these things and make sure that we form a consensus about some of all of these things. But bearing in mind that we aren't going to be pushed to a corner, that the determination of everything that we are going to do now should rest on the minority because they feel they have the numbers, and if you don't give us our way, now we have the numbers, we'll push everything. I mean, can we run a country like that? You are asking for people to come on board, bring consensus, deal with that, make sure that we agree on certain things. Then you are taking a high horse, telling us that people have an ego. You also have an ego that you want to play along with. You don't want to tell people that, yes, you want to also play to your people, that we are representing, we are not going to leave anything, even when you know that the things that are being done is right. And probably, what I am sensing is that because probably they've seen that if this policy is implemented, I'm talking about the economic policy, the budget is implemented, and the things in the budget are made so that when they are done, it will change the fortunes of this country in this post-COVID era. It will give them a hard time climbing back into power or something. So we probably would have to then block every single thing that would come.
Okay, I just want to clarify one point, please. Are you blocking everything in the budget, or at the moment, is it just the e-levy that the minority has a problem with? Because as far as I know, there's actually no issue. There were 5 issues that were raised. There were 7. They came to 5. The majority took the other ones into consideration, and it's just left with 1. So when you say that, you know, they are blocking every process, I just want, is there any other process that we're not aware of, or any other?
You should be asking me that, because I said
okay, let me ask, because you are regular, so let me ask.
Because the originality of what they did, what they presumed to have done, was that they rejected the budget. And what does that mean?
It meant that there were parts of the budget that they were not happy with.
It was not part of the budget.
No.
There were 7 issues.
It is not the 7 issues, because they initially said that they've rejected the budget. You are here. Don't let us go.
Giving reasons.
Wait. Giving
reasons. In the minority leaders' debate.
The fact that
it's concluding debate.
So
the reasons for rejecting the budget.
You could have held on. You could have held on for the whatever rejection that they so say they did. And waited to have met the finance minister when he said he wanted to meet leadership before the final conclusion of debate. If indeed it is not everything that they wanted to block, they would have then went with the finance minister, met with him, done that meeting in terms of all the issues that were raised before the final debate by leadership was done. But they went ahead, raised whatever they did, and then set to move the motion to reject the budget, but not those parts of the budget. The entirety of what they did then, they so claim, was to reject the budget in its totality, given those reasons. So those reasons could have been there, held on. Let us go discuss those ones before we come past the final conclusion on the budget. But they did not do that. They only gave that as a precursor, then said, then we have rejected. But isn't it what he said?
Okay, so
and then he said that we came back.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
just one second. Can I ask you a question? If you go to a chopper, right, and they bring you the fufu and the goat and the intestines and everything, and you don't want the intestines and stuff, usually what you do is you send all the food back, and then they go and then they dish it out and then bring it again. I mean, to the ordinary Ghanaian who likes fufu and soup, that's how we'll think about it.
That is not how you think about it. That is not how you think about it.
And you are correct.
Wait. When you feel that,
because you see that budget included even our salaries.
Let me tell you.
Do you understand? So if we're rejecting the policy,
you are not.
And stated reasons, we're just telling you to go.
If you had rejected, no.
As you have
if you had rejected the policy because of these reasons, and you told me, oh, then take everything away. We are not going to debate the estimate. Would we have debated the estimate if we have not agreed on the policy? No. But the estimate would then form the basis of us passing the appropriation bill, but not necessarily the policy. And secondly, when you use the chop bar argument, if you're eating and you feel like your soup is finished, you don't take the whole food away.
No,
you ask them to bring
this one, we hadn't started
eating. And even wait, let me tell you, when they bring the food and you feel like there is a meat on it that you don't like, you ask them to bring a bowl and take it off.
Some will agree, some will not.
So it is 2 things.
Okay.
So then, if I say they rejected everything, I would not ask somebody a food that the president has brought me, but I will still eat because 1 meat is on it.
Or 7.
Come take everything away. I would ask the person to bring
a bowl.
Take that meat off for me to have mine. So you see, so the understanding of everything depends as to the real intent that you want to place on it.
You know, anyway,
but however,
I think that to say that our intention is to frustrate everything is to ignore.
But if you are telling me if the speaker comes,
ignore the facts.
You are going back. As we debate the principle. What are you trying to tell me?
As we speak, this is the minority that even after electing a speaker had equal numbers on the appointments committee still made it possible for government to form a government.
Oh, okay. So now
that is not a minority that is
argument
irresponsible.
Is rolling back. And
secondly, this is the minority that even though we are opposed to their charade of, reinstating the budget that was rejected, we are at the committee level doing what our electorate have elected us to do. That is not a minority determined to frustrate everything about governance.
If the speaker comes back and you go back to the policy, what would the appropriation that you're going to do be?
Sorry.
If the speaker comes back, just as you've told me and told everybody, that you would want to go back to the policy rejection process. And you are telling me we do not frustrate the process because we went for...
Fantastic. This is a minority. Let me answer. You have asked a question. Let me answer it. You asked a question. Let me answer it. Let me answer it.
No, the question
yes, he said he has
I must give you more information so that you'll be able to answer the question.
Context. Okay.
I understand you.
You don't. You tell me that you are not frustrating every process, right? And that you've gone for the estimate and committee hearings, no problem. But you are now telling me that if the speaker comes back, you are going back to the process of us either have approved the principle or the policy of the budget. What would that estimate that you're going to do?
The fact that
and that because you did not want
can I answer?
You did not want to frustrate the process and whatever illegality.
The fact that we do not want to frustrate government does not mean that we will condone with illegal conduct of government.
But you don't believe that
we will use the right processes to challenge the illegality that government is engaged in. So and when he talks about the quorum, when he talks about the issue of quorum, I give a simple practical example. So you say 102 talks about quorum to do business, and 104 talks about quorum to take a decision. So they are in sequential order, 102, 104. Now, let's go back to what we all can relate to. You have a cutoff point, qualification for entering level 100. You don't have that. But you say you can jump to level 200. Logically, how does it work? So the university says you need this grade before you get to level 100. And when you get to level 100, you do business at level 100. And that business at level 100 will determine if you go to level 200. Not so?
Yeah.
Then you say that, okay, 102, you are not qualified to do business, but you are qualified to take decision. So the framers of the Constitution were clear in their mind when they said that to form quorum, you need a certain number, excluding the one presiding.
Do you agree with that?
That is
that's what it says.
That is
that's what it says.
That is not 104.
I said to go to level 100. Let me relate it well. Okay. When you to go to level 100, listen. The Constitution. The Constitution says. Listen, Akwesi. The Constitution says to go to level 100. To go to level 100, you need a certain figure, excluding the person presiding. That's to go to level 100. That's what you need. Then you say that I respect that one, but to go to level 200. That does not apply. There's no exclusion. There's now a difference. The framers of the Constitution, and the Constitution we are told should be read in whole and not in parts. So they say that at every time you are going to take a decision, and you see the irony of this argument, Akwesi, is that even quorum is a decision. They say that quorum, the simple definition of quorum, is that the valid number of votes to make an election valid.
To do something.
The valid number of votes. So to say that in the decision to take quorum, the person presiding didn't vote. It's not to understand what voting means.
Wait. Therefore,
do you understand?
If that is the simple argument and interpretation you want to do, there would have been no 104. There would have been no 104.
I'm telling you that.
That is it.
I'm telling you that. They say that when you want to form quorum, when you want to form quorum,
104 in the Constitution.
So wait, you said that no.
If
to take a decision,
what you want to say,
to take a decision,
there would have been no 104.
104.
There should have been only the 104.
104. 104 says that to form a quorum, to take a decision, you need this number.
Yes, more than half.
More than half to be present. And I'm saying that
members of
quorum,
and it's never said,
and I'm saying that quorum,
the one presiding,
and I'm saying that what I'm saying is that listen to me. Yes, and I'm saying that quorum in itself is determined through a vote. Now the speaker says that the first quorum, I am allowed. We are 138, so we are more than half.
The first quorum doesn't talk about that. The first quorum of 138 is not in Article 102. The 138 quorum for decision is not in Article 102.
I'm talking about 1/3. I'm talking about 1/3.
1/3, yes. 1/3, you don't need 138. You need 92.
But it is in 102 that it says the person presiding is not counted.
Yes, but it is
not stated explicitly in 104 that the person presiding does not count. But what I'm saying is that
there was an intent for it.
No. There was. No, the intent, it flows 102. You read the Constitution in whole and not in parts.
So then why
you don't read 102 and keep it. And say that when you come to 104, 102 doesn't play a role.
That is why when you read the 104 well, it states that excluding otherwise provided in this Constitution.
Yes, so it says that it says except as otherwise provided, because it's been provided already in 102. How to determine the person presiding is not there.
Then we can take decisions about entrenched positions in the Constitution with just 92 people.
Okay.
No, wait.
I feel
like we can take decisions. Repeal part of this Constitution with just a quorum of 92 people.
Anyway, let's move on. What I'm saying is that this is what you are trying. Exactly. That is why, as a minority, we do not want we do not want this country to be stagnant. We want to make progress. But in making progress, we will not condone any illegal conduct of government. Every opportunity that is available, we will use that opportunity to challenge what we consider to be illegal.
Yes,
and that is not frustrating government. That is not being disruptive. That is just playing our oversight role as members of Parliament. And when they talk about the COVID effect and how this whole budget is going to get out of, get us out of the effect. Look, they speak as if COVID affected only the government economy. They forget that COVID also affected the ordinary man's economy. And yet the focus seems to be milking from the ordinary man to fix the so-called government economy that they messed up in their handling of COVID. So, for example, in 2021, they introduced 4 taxes that the ordinary man had to bear to pay for their mess. So you had the sanitation tax, you had the COVID tax, you had the levy on energy recovery levy, and others. The Ghanaian people for 1 year have been able to bear that burden, even though they were also affected by the COVID. Their incomes had also been affected by the COVID. And yet you move on and want to introduce more taxes, and we say that, look, the people are already burdened. So cut your expenditure. And that is what we are doing at the committee level. Looking at the estimates and the NCA, inability to present their reports for us is an indication that they may be hiding something. Because, for example, when some of the reports, from the various agencies have come, we have seen in the case of the Ministry of Health, you said you talk about it, where in the era of COVID, that ministry spent 32 million Ghana cedis on conferences.
That is not a fact.
I mean, so these are some of the wasteful expenditures they have engaged in that has hit the government economy, that they want the ordinary man who is also suffering as a result of COVID
I want us to go into
pay. And we are saying it is not fair.
I want to ask you a question, and I want us to go into the health thing right after that. So, Akwesi, this is the question. All of these arguments just come down to one thing, right?
And that is?
And that is the taxes. The taxes, no. The e-levy, as it stands now, we've accepted that we can't do anything about the other ones that are for But the e-levy, no, the 1.75%.
Yes. Anyway.
Yesterday, Collins said that until the ink is dry, there's hope. That's the 1.75, no, will not be 1.75.
That is what we...
So I'm going to ask you
wait up until the ink is dry, as my brother said, because that is when we will see the bill. But anyway, we sit here and we behave like we are the only country in this world, and we don't even appreciate the impact of COVID on the country. Go to other countries.
If you're going to take that argument, then you should start with figures. You should start with the figures. If you're going to compare us to Italy or to France, then start with their figures.
What figures are you talking about?
I'm talking about the COVID figures.
What figures in COVID? The numbers.
Yes, the numbers.
Of people who
had figures.
That tells you the prudence in management and leadership.
Of COVID? No.
Yes, you are making a mistake. You don't agree.
Oh my goodness.
Wait.
When countries
let their doors open, in terms of thought, processes, procedure, how to safeguard the economy and their country and its people, we did not do that. We went in very early. Wait. You see, I'm getting the thoughts. No matter how you punch in, I'll still have it to say it to you. Bear you me. After 21 days of lockdown, there was almost about 9 months in this country that the government workers never worked. But they were paid.
Okay.
In full. SNET, in full. None was in arrears. Ask yourself.
You are talking about less than 1 million workers.
Wait, you are talking about less than 1 million workers. And you don't even think that is an impact on the economy.
You are not talking about the
money from IMF.
You are not what money did you get from IMF?
What money did you get?
Billion Ghana cedis. And borrowed
we took some money from one of our funds.
The stabilization fund.
We took money from them, did we not?
Do you have to replenish those monies? Do you have to keep them back? Do you have to make sure that
we have to replenish them, but do we have to milk Ghanaians?
You are not milking Ghanaians. That is why you don't appreciate things. Then they tell us, or they would want to tell you that we should reduce the expenditure. What expenditure are you talking about?
The waste. What is the money you spent on PPEs?
You are talking about people. This is the life
saving. Go check how much you were buying.
This is what
12 billion Ghana cedis, according to the Auditor General's report, was lost last year.
It is not lost last year. Don't talk about those figures as if they are real monies. They are.
They're not real money.
Wait. It is not all that the Auditor General said. Some of them are even an imagination of what could have been lost if things were done in a manner that he thinks it should have been done. We only take these figures and throw them about without analyzing them to the core. Please, don't be doing these things. You see, we live in this country and we forget.
That they are not real money?
Yes, not all of it.
Lost.
Take it well.
It's not real money?
Not all. When there is the understanding or the thought that because you tilted it this way, you should have tilted it this way, because you tilted it to the left, it means we may have lost this amount of money. Does not necessarily mean. And secondly, for most of these things, and of all of these allegations of the Auditor General, some of them are not the finality of what has happened. Because people go to challenge and they get it. And they are exonerated. So why do we make it a fact that we take the bulk of it and at the end of the day just believe that it is hook, line, and sinker and it is the truth? We lose the fact that we talk about the economy of the ordinary person. Still, even in COVID, when students reopened school, the government made sure that free SH continued. Wait, don't go there, you do that. But let me tell you one thing. When people lost businesses, when petty traders lost their businesses because of COVID, COVID is a global matter, but not the crisis that we saw in the last 7 years past.
Anymore.
Wait,
how much
wait. No, you see that is the mistake.
We're talking about wasting.
This is the
adepa to you. I have a contract today where this was bought for 120 Ghana cedis.
When I keep
120 Ghana cedis.
Can we please
of the adepa?
Do you know the number of people?
How much do you buy this on the street?
If not for the support government is still keeping in CSHS. There will probably be more than half of the 1.2 million individuals in senior high schools. And we sit here and we believe and we just throw about figures for the sake that we would want to capitalize on something to revamp ourselves and come back to power. Please. Anyway, you see, look at the other countries that you talk about, the US and the rest. They were able to practice what we call quantitative easing by printing enough currency to offshore it. Are you telling me you can do that?
You borrowed from the central bank for the first time in the history.
Because for the first time in our history in 100 years,
you borrowed from the central bank. You got 2 billion from the World Bank. You got 250 million from the stabilization fund.
A pandemic, and we are still experiencing pandemic.
So don't say you didn't print money. You printed money by borrowing from the central bank.
You see the problem that
that's the same thing.
It is not the same thing.
What is it?
It is not. So wait. Let us not behave as if we live in isolation in this world, and that we are not impacted by what is happening in this world. Yes, we agree that things are rising up, but these are not due to mismanagement. Anyway, if you ship your things at $2,000 per container, and now the world prices of that container is $9,000, are you telling me it's because of mismanagement? The impact of COVID. These price indices will be then placed on the ordinary goods that you and I buy. It is about you and I to be responsive enough and understand that there is a certain impact that has affected this world, this country, part of it, and everybody, and we must rise up to the occasion.
Okay, so the 32
we expect government,
cities.
We expect government to continuously provide the social goods and services for us. Even in this era, currently, even as we speak, there are organizations in this country that do not go the full whole of 1 month. They go alternative weeks, employees. Yes, but they are paid full salary. Look at the productivity that is lost in there. But they are paid. You see, it is not that we would want to say, oh, the introduction of taxes is something that we don't mind about. But we must also be thinking about the future of this country, the present and the future. How to make sure that this country is sustained and progressed and moved out of this COVID. Now you want to talk about 32 million.
Yes, I would, please.
Do you have evidence to that?
I wasn't the one who brought it up.
Who brought it up? Who brought that issue
So
up?
you're saying it's not true?
I am asking you, where is the evidence of that 32 million?
Okay, so you're saying it's
and
not
you see
true?
the problem that we have, that when there is, you see, when there is a generic headline for something, the person that you want to claim brought it up has said that he hasn't even spoke on that matter, because that matter even never arose at the committee. And I'm a member of the health committee. Because if there was no understanding to that, we would not even have risen. And we just look at it, oh, meetings and conferences, and even if that is so, we just walk around it and just say 32 million, and that we do not want to go to the details of even what that really went for. Please, you see, there are some of these things that we band around, because you see, it is always being said about news sale, and we want to create sensationalism. Put these things out there. We don't go to find the details of all of these things. But immediately we put it out there, even when the details come, we want to frustrate the details.
Okay, so I'm just reading the actual story that was given to us by Kwesi Parker Wilson, who's our parliamentary correspondent. And this is what he's saying happened. That the minority in parliament accused officials of the health ministry of the 32 million of blowing it. Ranking member of the health committee, Kwabena Menta Akando, described the development as shocking. He indicated that some officials, actually we have it. So let's just take a listen to it, and then we'll come back and continue.
We imagine that when we are looking for money to combat COVID, we are using COVID money to establish banks. And
we are using COVID money to establish banks?
Yes.
Is that what the ministry used the COVID money for?
Yes. So if you look at the budget statement, economic policy 2022, and page 335, there's a table, the appendix 12, the status of utilization of 2021 COVID-19 budget, and it is giving you from January to September. On that table, if you look at item 5, seed fund for capitalization of Development Bank Ghana, and that is in the region of 573 million Ghana cedis. That's what we are using COVID money for. In the course of our scrutiny, we realized that not less than 32 million Ghana cedis has been expended on meetings and seminars.
Meetings and seminars. Yes. Is it COVID meetings or just ordinary meetings and seminars?
Expenditure, another breakdown. So it's purely, they were accounting for COVID expenditure. So things that has to do with COVID expenditure. And there are a lot of issues. If I could recall, you see, we will leave the details of these things on the floor of the House. We are yet to present our reports. That's why I'm being very careful here, and we'll take it from the floor of the House. I know that's when we'll go into the details. There are a lot of things that begs for answers.
But you are alleging that 32 million has been expended on conferences.
I can
between which period, sir? Between which period?
You see, the budget they are presenting at the moment, they are speaking to January to September 2021.
So between January and then September.
I can give you the documents for you to apprise yourself with, what I'm talking about. And so we have called for some other documents, we have a lot of problems. Do you know that as I speak to you now, the National Health Insurance Scheme is, owing service provided in excess of 5 months, 6 months.
Okay. I'm a member of the health committee, and if the ranking member on the health committee speaks this way, then I have a problem. He's churning out an untruth. He cannot go about bundling figures together just to create an image for himself. Yes, wait. You see, now we are shifting the goalpost. The initial argument that we had, that he had, that even brought other friends of the NDC to the committee was about the expenditure on vaccines. When that was drilled down and they found no hole to run in, now he's bangling up. This figure of 32 never rose at the meetings. And I must put it on record. I am a member of the health committee. However, if he has a document to that effect, he must speak to the details of it, but not the generic title of it. Because under every expenditure, there are line items that they state of what they use the money for. So if you immediately just put it out there, that meetings, seminars, and conferences, these are 3 things that you put together generically. As we sit here, if Joy would want to place this, they probably can even say meetings, conference, and the rest. The details of it must be brought out. But this matter of 32, never. You see, when the matter of the World Bank 147 million came in, and a report in the budget of 929 million, Ghana cedis, 752 of which has been allocated for the purchase of vaccines, they carried those two, combining them as one figure, 2 double figures into one for the expenditure on vaccines.
As opposed to
it being the only one, 147, converted into Ghana cedis, reported in the budget for the purchase of Johnson & Johnson, which that money has been ring-fenced. And that initially it was for 12.3 million doses. But when the negotiation was finally done, because UNICEF is leading that purchases for us, when the negotiation was finally done, then we went into price negotiation and the rest. We had a windfall in the price and used to top the doses up to 16.9 million.
Okay, so
but not all. Yes, that is why I'm telling you that he should have spoken to the details in it, but not the blockheading. Even
and
if
there's
it is
also
true.
the 500 and something for the development bank.
Yes, what is the development bank going to do? It is going to help us re-engineer and to be able to bring about a certain capital injection into businesses. If not for COVID, will people have lost genuinely some of their jobs? Isn't it the responsibility of the government to help find a way to resource these individuals?
Okay, so this
what
is
if we do from
COVID affected?
Wait, yes. So if you do from COVID, what is the point about it? That if you have money coming out of COVID, and because of the impact of COVID on people's businesses, the government would want to set up a development bank, which will help finance some of these individuals, give them capital, put it into the economy again, for it to change their lives that COVID made worse. What is the problem about it?
Okay, so we makes a good argument.
We make some of these things.
He makes a very good
we don't
argument.
even think about the ordinary Ghanaian.
I think you've made a good argument. I'm going to give you the chance
Except that, look, at the committee level, when you make requests for goods and services, the details of goods and services budgets to be submitted to you, it is only members who are interested in the details of the goods and services who may find the 32 million that the ranking member found.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure that Akwesi will not deny that such requests were made at the committee for the details of goods and services budget.
Okay.
So when it is submitted and you don't take interest in it, and the ranking member takes interest in it and sees a line item of 32 million Ghana cedis that is spent on meetings and conferences, and he raises it, he's speaking to the facts. That's why he says the documents are there. But you see, because we are not reckless, and we are thoughtful, he says that, look, he's even requested more information on it. So, and when he gets that more information,
why do you come out? Why do you come out and say that? Why don't you come out?
No, you see,
you see that is what I say.
The oversight role we play as parliamentarians, we do it with you in the media, on behalf of the people.
You don't do it.
And so,
excuse me,
when I find something
reckless in this manner,
look, if it is 32 million on meetings and conferences, that alone should raise an eyebrow. And if I raise the eyebrow,
wait and find the details. You don't come out. You see,
no. If I raise the eyebrow, what is wrong?
When the details come out, it will not be given the same
meetings and conferences 22 million Ghana cedis in 9 months.
You see,
it shouldn't raise an eyebrow.
It will not be.
How can it ever be justified?
How can it never be justified?
So what I'm saying is that the details may even be more smelly. The details may even be more,
So why don't you wait for the?
Because there can be no justification for this. But the details is what will even make it more, you know, to use the word smelly. So what we are saying is that
a certain discomfort so that we can
on the floor of the house when he gets all those details,
we will not be there.
But we are saying that look, when you take COVID money, this development bank, go and read the finance minister's presentations. This is an afterthought. The excuse he gives here is an afterthought.
It is not.
The development bank has been never in the offing even before COVID.
It is. Wait.
It's been in the offing even before COVID.
It has been in the offing.
So how does it all of a sudden become a COVID idea?
Yes, wait.
If you are being honest.
Good.
We're waiting for money. And then we saw that there was money.
And there is a problem that has aggravated the need for us to have the development bank. Why don't you channel some of the money there?
But what we are saying is that
why don't you channel some of the money there?
It's been your plan.
Yes.
To form a development bank even before COVID.
No problem.
And so when you use COVID money to set it up, when you now eventually get a win from COVID,
eventually
you don't tell us COVID has affected you so much.
No, wait, but eventually COVID has come.
And especially
has affected a lot of people.
I was talking about the waste.
1 minute.
I was talking about the waste. Look, yes, you are told that you can't put it up. It will amount to an advert. Look, Adepa, toilet roll, the towel, the extra large. If you drive out here, the hawkers, they hold it. Ask them how much you pay for one. Our government, during COVID, bought one for 120.
Do you remember face shield?
Wait, 120 Ghana.
Wait,
one pack of the toilet.
When you say one pack, what do you mean?
Just one. Not a pack. Just one like that.
That is a lie.
I have the contract here. Just one.
One kitchen towel.
Kitchen towel for 120 Ghana cedis.
Do you know the difference between a pack and a
pack? A pack or one?
Just one.
So you don't say
just one item. Not even
you said one pack. Do you know how many is in a pack?
So thank you for the correction. Just one item.
And wait, do not face
one item for 120 Ghana cedis
during COVID. Am I lying?
Yes.
This contract was signed.
Sanitizer.
Listen, I can
show you. How much was it selling for during COVID?
Yes, they've come down. How much? About 5 cedis.
So wait, you speak today of matters that happened a year ago. In terms
of kitchen towels, I mean, even the US, they had a shortage of tissue and toilet.
In Ghana, did we have a shortage?
Maybe
you are talking about in Ghana.
120 Ghana cedis. Even in those days, they were selling it on the street.
Maybe. It is not for a piece.
The towel.
It is not for a piece. So if it was for a piece.
It was for a piece.
All right, okay.
I'll show you about the pack and you sit here.
We're done with this conversation for today. A very big thank you to our Hassan Suhini MP for Tamale North and Akwesi Konedu MP for Menchia North. We'll come back and we're talking about party in the park. Don't go anywhere.
Now you are here telling us it was one. Now you are telling me.
Well, welcome back. And something to look forward to on the 27th of December is Joy FM Freitol's family party in the park. And joining me this morning is Mr. Max Fugger. I won't say his designation, but he's a very, very big man here at Multimedia. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, anywhere.
Okay, so I hear you're a chief organizer for this year's party in the park.
No, a member of the planning team.
Oh, really? Okay, well, so tell us about this year's family party in the park. What's it going to be like?
Okay, yeah, we've been doing family party in the parks for some time now. But this year, we want to move it a notch higher. We want to deliver an experience to our audience, our clients, to the general public. And so this year's event, the biggest thing and the biggest change is that it's taking place at Ebri Botanical Gardens.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But before then, somebody will ask, why are you doing this? Why family party in the park? And why Ebri? So let me first say that, look, we know these days because of the fast pace of modern life, it's difficult, or it's becoming increasingly difficult for us to have time for our families. You wake up around 4 something, sometimes 5. You come back maybe 9, 10. You don't have time for the family. If it's your wife, it's your husband, it's for the kids, you just don't have time. So we realize that, look, it is important that we create opportunity for the family to bond. If it's even once a year, let's have that opportunity. And so we created this Family the Park platform, where at least once a year, the family can come together. So this year we said, look, we're going to do it at a Ebri, which is bigger than our previous location. And so virtually the Ebri Botanical Gardens that day is for us. And then we are expecting at least 300 families to converge there. For nothing at all, just come with the family, sit down with them, your own corner, we'll provide canopies. If possible, we'll provide mats or mattresses, whatever. Sit down with the family, engage, bond, discuss issues, have fun, and then go back home refreshed and energized. I mean, you will have achieved bonding at the end of the day, and that's the objective.
That's all, yeah. Okay, so it's happening at the Eburi Botanical Gardens, and it's 27th December. I think it's a holiday.
It's a holiday. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. So, because we could have used any other day, but we chose 27 because, yes, I mean, Christmas Day, people go to church and all those. So we said, okay, so let's do 27, which is a holiday. And then people will just drive up there. So all that you need is move up there with the family. We are arranging for bus services, but we'll confirm that.
Okay.
But in the absence of that, just pack your case, pack your family into a car, make sure you have your ice chest, stack it very well, and then move.
Okay, but will there be food there? Because you're talking about ice chests and...
Yeah, we'll definitely have some catering houses providing food. But the most important thing is that just be there. And the tickets, the rates are...
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, 50 CDs.
Only 50 CDs.
For a family of 6.
Of 6, yeah. Because we assume that the average Ghanaian family is 6.
Yeah, okay.
Father, mother, 4 kids.
Yeah.
Some can be less. Some will have 10 kids, 6, 7 kids. But we just average and say, okay, can we have a family of 6? So for 50 cities, can bring your family of 6. If you are 8, that means you need 2 tickets.
Okay.
And the tickets will be available at the front desk of Joy FM from tomorrow. But if you want reservation, there's a number you can call, 054-010-6466. Those are the numbers you can call for the reservation of tickets.
Okay. And they're physically available at Joy FM.
Yeah, front desk of Joy FM from this evening.
And then online.
We'll communicate the online.
You can communicate, okay. But there's also something interesting. Tickets will not be available at the gate.
Exactly. This is to afford us the opportunity to plan and to receive.
And know the numbers as well.
The numbers, so exactly. Because the COVID protocols will be strictly observed. And so to avoid large number of people coming in and then managing the crowd, we are asking people to buy the tickets ahead of time.
Okay.
And then we can plan for them, receive them, and deliver an experience that they will never forget.
Fair enough. Okay. So do you just want to run us through the details again before I let you go?
All right. So basically, we said the date is 27th.
27th.
Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Participants should be assured of security for their vehicles, for their life, for their property. Everything we are providing enough security.
Okay.
COVID-19 protocols will be in place. They will be strictly enforced. That's why we are using the botanical gardens in the first place.
Okay, so that there's lots of
space out nicely, and then the fumigation is going to be done twice before the day. And so, I mean, there's nothing to be worried about.
Okay.
We are taking care of all those things. And then, like we said, the rate is just 60 cities, 50 cities
for a family of 6.
For a family of 6. And then the hotline to call for reservation, 054-010-6466. And then people should remember that tickets will not be sold at the gate. This year we are being sponsored by Fritol, which is the lead sponsor.
Yeah.
And then we are supported by Nyamido Apartments from Celtic Realities. We have Cape Ruby Sweet Wines from Kingdom Books and Stationery, ADB, ATL, Day by Day Men Deodorant, and Francophones are all supporting this year's event. And we assure participants that this year will be different. Come with the family and come and experience the party in the park, the multimedia way.
There'll be some activities, fun activities as well?
Yes, there'll be live band. There'll be a lot of fun. There'll be inter-family games. Everything that will be fun, but to be done on inter-family. So your family against my family, your family versus somebody else's family. It's going to be fun. So every activity to make the kids occupied, to make the entire family occupied and have fun. Those are the things that we're going to deliver on that?
Okay. Well, it's Monday, the 27th of December, 2021. So join us at the Eburi Botanical Gardens from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to cost you 50 cedis for a family of 6. You can't get tickets on that day, though, so pop by Joy FM and pick up your tickets and come and let's have fun together, you know. Families bonding and just enjoying the Christmas spirit.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Max, for joining us this morning.
Most welcome.
Okay, so good to see you. Thank you so much.
Hope you'll be there.
Yes.
Okay.
With my battalion.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go and do some showbiz with IB, but I'm sure you've heard of 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% discount, but never 50%. Well, Seti Realty is offering 50% discount on your dwelling properties. Prices starting from 210,000 Ghana cedis. That's like a price of a brand new car. This offer is for a limited time and on selected units. Terms and conditions apply. So if you're looking for a 2 or 3 bedroom home in a gated community, make sure you call Seti Realty. The numbers are 055 143 5555, 055 143 8888, or you can visit them www.nyamedriagh.com. And Star Ghana Foundation, in collaboration with Joy News under the Partnership Beyond Aid project, is bringing you the 2022 budgets for health and education services delivery in a COVID-19 pandemic era forum. Now, this will be live at the Golden Tulip Hotel tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. The keynote address will be delivered by Professor Haruna Isahaku, Associate Professor of Applied Economics and Finance at the University of Development Studies. Some of the panelists include Professor Nana Ikuya Anyidoho, the Director, Center for Social Policy Studies, University of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Asare, the Executive Director, Africa Education Watch, Honorable William Kwetu, past Chairman, Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Eric Asibe, Associate Professor and Dean of International Programs Office, University of Ghana, Harriet Ajiman, Programs Officer, SEND Ghana. You can follow the live discussion on the Joy News channel 421 on DSTV, 144 on GoTV, or on your digital TV, myjoyonline.com, and all Joy News and Star Ghana Foundation social media platforms for your active participation and comments. The 2022 budget promoting equitable financing. We're taking a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Nia Malisang, today is Nia Malisang Adam. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday going out to you. This coming from your sister Maya, from myself, and from everybody you've been training at Fit and Fine Gym. I know you can't wait for 24th.
Yes.
And you're walking straight to the Grand Arena from
Carol Service. All right, well, join us on the 24th. We'll be doing some but of course, we'll give you all the details, as and when. Let me just say a big thank you to Star Ghana Foundation, who in collaboration with Joy News under the Partnership Beyond Aid project is bringing you the 2022 budget for health and education services delivery in a COVID-19 pandemic era forum. It'll be live at the Golden Tulip tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. The keynote address will be delivered by Professor Haruna Isahaku. He's an Associate Professor of Applied Economics and Finance at the University of Development Studies. And some very interesting panelists, Professor Nanekua Anyedoho, who's a Director, Center for Social Policy Studies, University of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Asare, Executive Director, Africa Education Watch, Honorable William Kwetu, past Chairman, Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Eric Asibe, Associate Professor and Dean of International Programs Office, University of Ghana, and Harriet Ajiman, Program Programs Officer for Send Ghana. Follow the live discussion on the Joy News channel 421 on DSTV, 144 on GoTV or on your digital TV. Also, myjoyonline.com and all Joy News and Star Ghana Foundation social media platforms. We'd love for you to actively participate, and we'd love to read your comments. 2022 budget promoting equitable financing. And that's it for us. It's a wrap. This is the AM show. Thank you so much to all of you for staying tuned in. Producer, director, lights, camera, actions. Thank you all. We'll do this again tomorrow morning a little before 6 a.m. Stay safe out there.